Hey guys, I am back to share with you kind of a follow-up video on one that I recently posted, and that was my top 10 eyeshadow palettes ranked. I love ranking videos and I love eyeshadow palettes, so this video was like me in a video. This is the kind of video that if I see a video like this in my feed, I click on it faster than... I can't think of like a clever thing to say. Super fast. I click on it super fast. Basically in that video I talked to you guys through the 10 eyeshadow palettes that I would replace if all of the eyeshadow palettes that I own suddenly disappeared. But as I mentioned in that video, I promised to follow up doing kind of a get ready with me an eyeshadow look using my #1 ranked eyeshadow palette. So that is what we are doing today. I'm going to share with you guys a look using the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. This is the palette that I ended up ranking at #1. There were a lot of reasons that I talked about in that video, but mainly this palette just has it all. This is a palette that I feel like was created specifically for me and my kind of eyeshadow preferences. I've talked a lot about this palette on my channel, but despite the fact that I've used this thing several times here on my channel, we're going to do something a little bit different today. I wanted to go kind of with a color combination that I've never tried. We're going to really focus on mainly the purple and this kind of gold. I thought we'd do kind of a purple gold combination today. So I hope that that sounds interesting to you guys. If you have this palette, pull it out of your collection, follow along with me. You can definitely use other eyeshadows that you have that are similar to this, or maybe you just want to sit down, watch me do my makeup and kind of hang out for a minute. That's what we're going to do today. Before we jump into it, welcome to any of you that are new. I hope that you'll stick around, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell so that you can be notified anytime I upload. And with that said, I'm going to zoom you guys in just a little bit closer and let's get started. Alright, so I've got you guys zoomed in a little bit. I'm going to try my best to stay in focus. Sometimes this is hard. The closer I zoom in, the more narrow my focal plane is. So let's kick things off by going into what is my favorite transition shade in here, and it is this one right here. This is the color Riff. We're going to take that on my Morphe M504 brush. Pretty much start every look with this brush, and I'm just going to take that, we're just going to kind of buff it slightly above my crease. If you have a small brow bone, I recommend just going straight into your socket line, right into your crease area. I feel like I mention this all the time, but I have so much brow bone space up here that it works better for me if I kind of add some color and a little bit of depth up onto my brow bone there, just to kind of diminish things a little bit. But do what works for you and for your eye shape. That might take a little bit of trial and error. Don't be afraid to kind of play with placement a little bit. It is just so hot today. So we have our house, just to kind of explain why it's so hot in our house. So we have air conditioning in our house, but the way that we built our house, we put the air conditioning on the second floor. So basically our house is like built special because my husband's an engineer and he engineered our house to have a really high R value. So basically we keep heat in really well and we're supposed to keep cool in very well as well. That was a weird sentence. But anyways, on a typical summer night, where we live, usually will break down into like the 60s. So we'll usually vent our house, open up all our windows, and just having that and having maybe a few fans going, our whole house will cool down during the night to the point where we don't really need air conditioning on our main floor. We have it on our second floor because second floors of houses, if you're at a place where it gets really hot, they really need air conditioning. Our main floor usually stays pretty cool. However, on occasion we get nights where it doesn't cool down at night. For instance, last night I think we only got down to like 76, and that's just not cool enough for our house to get cool to where it can stay cool all day long. So these last couple of days, our main living level that doesn't really have AC, that back room where we spend the most time can get really hot, especially when it doesn't cool down enough at night. So that's kind of what we have going on today. Now I want to go into that same color, but I'm going to take this Morphe M507 brush. It's just a small pointed blending brush. I'm just going to take a tiny bit on the tip and we're going to kind of run that underneath. I kind of just want to create like a wash of soft color that kind of circles my eye a little bit. We're just going to run it in about halfway. So we're also getting ready to go on a trip. We haven't taken a vacation yet this summer because we've been so busy with baseball mainly. That's finally come to an end and we finally have a chance to go on a family vacation. So we are so excited to be doing that this weekend, and we're going to be doing kind of a road trip this year. So we're going to go up the Oregon coast. I have a sister that lives in Oregon, just outside of, she lives in a small town about 30 minutes in from the coast in Oregon, kind of up near Coos Bay, which is kind of like central Oregon coast. But I'm so excited to go see her. My husband and I many years ago. For our honeymoon, we did a road trip up the Oregon coast. So we're kind of recreating the road trip, but we're taking the kids along with us. We're gonna go see all the lighthouses, play at the beach, go do some hikes, some waterfalls. We're gonna start off in Northern California at the Redwood National Park. I can't remember what it's called. I'm gonna stay there for a couple nights. But yeah, we are super excited. It's gonna be so much fun. So now I wanna go into the purple. We're gonna start kind of packing on that purple. I'm just gonna use my finger for this. This is the color Guilt Trip. Such a perfect toned purple. It's like a true purple, which is hard to find. I feel like so often purples either are not purple enough or they have kind of this type of color to them, kind of a berry tone to them, which I love that kind of color too, but this is like a true crayon box blue violet kind of purple. So with this small brush, I just kind of wiped that off. I'm just going to buff out these edges so I don't have any harsh lines, and then we're going to overlap this with something else. But I do want to kind of blend out that edge so it's not too harsh. I'm mostly just kind of flicking it over. I don't want it to go too far in. And then 2 days after we get home, the kids officially start school, which I'm kind of sad about, but much more excited about than sad. There's something about your kids starting school. If you're a mom, if you have young kids at home that are school aged, you'll know what I mean. Summer's just kind of crazy and everybody benefits from a good school schedule. It's been a fun summer, but I think my kids are kind of bored. They've stopped going outside. They don't really want to go swimming anymore. They're just kind of bored of doing summer things. And I think, yeah, it's time. And again, there's nothing left on here. I'm just kind of softly buffing out some of those edges and kind of buffing out the crease area to sort of almost add a little bit of depth there. So I'm really happy with the level of purple that we have on our eyes now. So I think I want to now kind of build up the outer corner just a little bit. I want to add a little bit of warmth to my outer corner, just so it's not too cool toned. So I'm going to take a mixture of this kind of berry tone and this brown. So these two colors are Hellride and Punk. I'm going to take that small pointer brush again. I just wiped it off on a clean rag, and we're just going to kind of dip back and forth into those two. And I'm really going to just concentrate this right kind of on this like outer corner right here, and kind of a round circular shape. We're going to go in just a little bit and then down slightly near this outer lash line. I just think that little bit of berry color keeps it from being too gray in the crease and gives it just a little bit of, I don't know if warmth is the right word, like softness. And then with what's left on the brush, I'm just going to take that and run it just about 1/4 of the way in. Just right there at that outer corner. If you feel like things got a little bit too deep under there, you can always take a cotton bud and just don't press very hard, just really lightly kind of run that right underneath, and you'll pull off some of that excess color that moved down a little bit too far. So I'd love to know what summer plans you guys have already done, or do you have anything planned before school gets back in, for those of you that are kind of on that summer schedule where you have summers off for your kids' schooling. And also some of you that are in winter countries, how does school work out there? Do they do a traditional summer break during like Australia's summer? Or I know like I have a subscriber in South Africa. I know I have one down in South America. I'd love to know what your schedules are like. I think that's so interesting to know how things work in different parts of the world. All right, so I am super happy with how that's looking. I'm excited to add a little bit of brightness to my inner corner though. So I'm going to take my clean finger, I just wiped off my finger, and I'm going to take my ring finger right here. And this is the color we're going to use. This is the color Stranded, one of my all-time favorite golden shades. This is a gold that doesn't have too much brassiness to it. It's almost like a champagne gold. It looks good on anybody. This is a color that doesn't matter how deep skin toned you are or how very fair you are. This is going to look amazing on your eyelids, and also looks amazing in combination with absolutely any color, not just in this palette, but in any palette that you could possibly pair it with. So I'm just going to take that on my ring finger, and we're going to start right on this inner part of the lid, and we're going to just tap that gently over where that purple kind of begins. If you want to add even more brightness, and I forgot I was maybe going to do this, but we'll just go with it. But you could actually add, If you want a little bit more drama or a little bit more brightness, you could do kind of a, not necessarily cut crease, but add just a little bit of concealer right to this inner portion of the lid, about a third of the way in. And then pack this on top and it will make it even more kind of bright and dramatic looking. But for today, we're just gonna kind of pat this on top and build it up a little bit. Now I'm gonna take just the tiniest bit right on the tip of my finger, and I wanna kind of tap that just right along the lash line in the, like about to the center. And then I'm taking this brush, I wiped it off, it's pretty clean. We're just feathering the very edge of this. I don't wanna knock too much of that shimmer off, so don't go crazy, just kind of lightly buff that in. Okay, that is so pretty. Love that. For the inner corner, I'm taking just a little bit of setting spray. This is just one from Catrice. Put that on the back of my hand. I'm going to take this brush. It's just a small kind of concealer brush from Alamar Cosmetics. We're going to get our brush a little bit wet, and then we're going to dip into this shade. This is the shade Breakaway. I'm going to add a little bit of that to my inner corner. And then on that same brush, I'm going to take just a touch more of that. We're going to apply that just right below the eyebrow. I don't want to be too heavy-handed, just very lightly right below the brow. This shade is somewhat shimmery, but it's not over the top shimmery to where I don't think you can use it on your brow bone. You just don't want to go too heavy-handed. So I think for liner, I'm going to use a black today. I'm going to take this one. This is the L'Oreal Infallible liner. I'm going to add a little bit of this to just the outer half of my waterline and also the outer half of my lash line. Do kind of a baby wing. So for liner, I'm going to add a little bit of black liner. We're going to take the L'Oreal Infallible liner, and I'm just going to add a little bit right to the outer half of my waterline. I know this looks a little bit creepy, but I want you to be able to see what lining your waterline can do. You can see it gives definition without taking up any lid space. I'm telling you guys, if you're not a waterliner, you should join the club because it does amazing things for your eyes. It's like a secretive way of defining your eyes. I love lining my waterline. Then again, I'm just kind of lightly taking that along the lash line and kind of tapering in as I get to the center. I don't want to go all the way in. I just want to go to the center and slightly wing that out. You can take your pinky and kind of pull on that just to get the shape just right. Alright, so there is the finished eyes minus mascara. For mascara today, I'm going to go in with a couple of coats of the ColourPop BFF mascara, and then I will be right back to finish off the cheeks and the lips, and then we will be done. Alright, so now they're the finished eyes. Very happy with how these turned out. Let's go ahead and finish off the rest of the face. I did already apply some bronzer. I also have highlighter on. For bronzer, I have the Tarteist Pro Glow palette, and then for highlight, I actually have the Wet n Wild Precious Petals. This is my one that sits on my desk that looks a little sad. I have a better looking one than that, but one of my favorite summertime highlighters. For blush, I think I also want to use the Tarteist Pro Glow palette. If you did not hear the sad story about what happened to this palette and why it looks the way that it does, go check out my Shop My Stash video. For a little hint, I have a toddler. Her name is Charlie. That's what happened to this palette. But we're going to go in and take this kind of cooler toned pink, and I'm going to add just a little bit of that to the apples of my cheeks. I really do like this palette. The formula is a little bit powdery and loose, something to keep in mind. I think those formulas can be a little bit harder to work with, and they're just a little bit messy, but it does apply and blend really easily and really beautifully. So for the lips, I kind of want to go with a pink lip as well, kind of a soft, lighter pink. This is the Bite Beauty lip pencil in the color 062. I got this last winter during the Christmas time. Sephora was kind of clearing out some of these colors. I wonder if some of these colors are kind of being discontinued. Okay, so now that that pencil's on, I think I want to add a little bit more of like a cool tone to my lips. So I'm going to go in with this right here. This is by Dose of Colors. This is their liquid lipstick in the color Lazy Daisy. Let me just swatch it on the back of my hand for you. You can see it's kind of like a cool toned purpley pink. I think this will go really well with this eye look. We're going to add just a little bit of this, and then we're going to put a gloss on top. I like these liquid lipsticks, but they are a little bit on the drying side. Okay, so there's that color. I like the color much better. I'm going to let that dry down. It's almost dry. I'm just going to let it dry down just a little bit. And then for gloss, about using the Dominique Cosmetics. I think this one's gonna be not cool toned enough though. Why don't we go in with this one? This is kind of almost a clear gloss. It has a little bit of like a milky tint to it. This is the color Sky Pink from Revlon. I love these Revlon glosses. I kind of think Revlon, if Revlon did what CoverGirl did in kind of like revamping and rebranding, they have a lot of great products that I think get overlooked because they've been around for so long. But I feel like no one talks about Revlon because they just have gotten kind of stagnant, or stale. I don't know if that makes any sense. And that's just my opinion. But I feel like they're a brand that has more great products than people give them credit for. Anyways, I'm just rambling now. But this is the finished look. I think that lip color is perfect with this eye look. Love this eye look. I think the combination of the purple mixed with the gold makes this a really good eye look for any eye color. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you guys thought of it. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Maybe you tried it along with me. Let me know how it worked out for you. But that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, I hope that you will hit that subscribe button before you leave and forget about me. And that's it. I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks again, and I will see all of you in my next video. Bye. Just start waving like this. Nobody else does that. The Vanna White wave. Elbow, elbow, wrist, wrist, finger. I don't even know. What do I know? I wasn't a pageant girl. Is it elbow, 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 wrist, wrist, finger, finger? Oh, Mandy, who cares? Who cares? And I probably just convinced you guys to leave. Don't tell people you're going to be chatty. All right, guys, so to kick things off, let me grab my brushes. Probably should have done that before the video started, Mandy. So I can't like move this way or I go out of focus. Oh crap, I just moved. Yellow eyes. Oh my gosh, I almost said yellow eyes. Nobody actually has yellow eyes. Some people have like yellowish brown eyes, like yellow in their eyes.